What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the best teams to be throwing on defense for this upcoming Grand Arena season. This is season 68. We're almost there, almost to that perfect number. But these are teams that we're going to talk about, teams that have been benefiting from focused Datacrons or just regular Datacrons, teams that we have found to be tricky on both offense and defense, but these are teams that are going to be a pain in the butt on defense, and you can see some up here at the top that you are probably already going to see on defense, or ones you've already probably figured out you're going to put on defense. We're going to break down these teams, kind of talk about what makes them so good for this season on defense, and talk about possible counters of what to use if you run into these teams on defense. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that like button and subscribe to the channel. And let's dive into it, and let's start by talking about what has kind of been the bane of everybody's existence, at least for the last month, especially with 3v3, and that is going to be the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren team with Darkside Vision Ray and the Focus Datacron. If you don't know what this Focus Datacron is, it is awful. Basically, what this does at fully upgraded is that Darkside Vision Ray takes a bonus turn every time an enemy takes a turn. She deals 100% more damage during this. And yeah, it can get a little crazy. There's also Sith Trooper, who gains stacking damage every time he critically hits, which is going to be quite often with Darkside Vision Ray going off. Your first order allies are gaining damage, gaining stacking crit damage whenever they are critically hit, and also just bonuses for Darkside characters and Sith characters, which helps a little bit with Darkside Vision Ray and with your Sith Trooper. But this team on defense in 3v3 was a nightmare, and there was really only one counter that people found, and that was with a Jedi Master Kenobi with his bonus protection up, which prevents critical hits and really kind of shuts down the Darkside Vision Ray and Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, because they can't score those critical hits, which means you can't really get the ultimate going on Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So it's like a Jedi Master Kenobi having to throw in the Focus Datacron for Hermit Yoda to really kind of get this going. It's really the only counter we saw in 3v3, maybe the only counter we see in 5v5. I do expect there to be something as well with any other team that can give critical hit immunity. Be curious to see if maybe something with Galactic Legend Ahsoka is going to get wiped out by this. Your Jedi Master Luke with that Focus Datacron is probably not going to work either, just because of what Rey's going to do with that. There's not going to be many counters for this. Jedi Master Kenobi is probably going to be the most reliable counter for this. We'll see how things go as 5v5 goes on, but I do expect this team to be the mainstay of 5v5 for this season. I do expect a lot of people to get tripped up on it, because yeah, it's going to be a tough one. And speaking of another tough one, that name is quite fitting for this. This one's going to be pure cancer. This is going to be a Datacron with Barriss Offee on here. And with this Datacron, this one is also disgusting. With Barriss Offee, the first time she is defeated, if there's at least one other active ally, revive all other defeated allies, and other allies recover 100% health and protection, gain 100% turn meter, and 100% offense until the end of battle. That is going to be absolutely disgusting on here. This is one where you're going to have to figure out a way to block revives if you can. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren can block them. Basically, any team that can find a way to block revives is going to be the way to go here. Or you just kind of go after Barriss Offee at the start of the fight and then just work your way through the rest of them. That's going to be your best option. It's already a tough team with Ben and Ezra Bridger and all their GAC Omicrons, and how much they're boosting this Rey team. This one is going to be an absolute pain in the butt. We'll see how it goes. We didn't really have a chance to test this in 3v3 because you got to use Ben and Ezra with Rey. So there's no real room for Barriss, which means this is really going to be a 5v5 issue only, which means luckily only 2 seasons of GAC are going to have this issue. So yeah, we'll see how this goes, but this one terrifies me a little bit. Hopefully we find some good counters to it and make this one pretty easy to take care of. Then we've got old reliable Jabba the Hutt with Hutt Cartel. Nothing too crazy here. This has always been a reliable one. This is one that, you always say on defense. They're not that great on offense, but they're always good on defense. Bashleia blocks the enemies from assisting. It's just a good, strong team on defense. What else is there to say at this point? If you used it on defense, you know how good they are. If you fought it, you know how annoying it can be on defense. But yeah, I see no reason to think that Jabba the Hutt with Hutt Cartel is not going to be a strong defensive team for this Grand Arena. So moving on from that, we're going to get away from our Galactic Legends, and now we're going to talk about some other ones. Queen Amidala with a Bad Batch combination. This mostly has to do with the Bad Batch Datacrons we've got going on, where you can get some cooldown resets on like Tech or Echo, or yeah, sorry, it's Tech that gets the cooldown resets. But you know, you throw some Bad Batch characters in with here. They're Galactic Republic. They get those nice Galactic Republic bonuses going. Queen Amidala is a steadfast, reliable team on defense inside of Grand Arena. You know, Padawan Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon really help back that team up. Yeah, these three are always solid in 3v3. Throw in some Bad Batch characters with 5v5. You can also throw in Shaak Ti onto this team instead of one of the Echo or Echo or Tech characters here, and you're still gonna have a good one. You know, Shaak Ti with the Clone Trooper synergy will help with that. But you know, with the sorry about that, mouse wheel went off. With the Bad Batch Datacron. Yeah, I'm kind of throwing in some extra stuff here, just trying to get some little extra boost to this team going here with that Datacron. We'll see how this goes. And then Darth Traya on defense with Sith. There is a Sith Datacron. This is going to be the last season, I think, we see this. And there's a Darth Talon Datacron in there, but overall, there's a Scion one as well. It's just a strong defensive team. There's going to be some really strong offensive teams this season, so this is one where I'm going to leave it on defense. Great team on offense as well, but it's one I usually like to leave on defense just for myself, because I have some pretty reliable offensive teams already. This is one you can throw on offense easily if you want to, but for me, this is just personal preference. And then the other Sith team, the Sith Empire team, Darth Malgus, Malak, Revan, Bastila Shan Fallen. Almost said Bastila Shalin. That doesn't work. And then Sith Marauder, you can also throw in HK-47. Throw in some of the Sith Empire characters. I believe Sith Assassin has a Datacron for this. I can't remember now who else on. Yeah, Sith Assassin. So if you've got Sith Assassin, you can throw here in on this if you want to. But yeah, there's some good solid Sith Empire choices for this if that's really what you want to go for. But yeah, I mean, strong team, Sith Empire, Sith characters, they get some nice boosts from that Sith Datacron, which will be the last time we get this. And then we've got the Jedi Vanguard, and this is gonna depend, this is really, your mileage is gonna vary on this depending on where you are with these teams, and also with the Jedi Vanguard Datacrons that we have going on. There's a really, really good option for Datacrons here. It's this one here, these extra bonuses that Jedi Vanguard characters gain. You know, they ignore taunt on their turns for attackers, healer and supports are revived, tanks are immune to stun. Whenever an enemy dispels a buff from a Jedi Vanguard ally, they're inflicted with provoked for 2 turns. Whenever a Jedi Vanguard ally is attacked out of turn, their cooldowns are reduced by 1. That's all in one description there. And then you have like the Kylo Ren Beck where he's reflecting damage. You can also get some stuff with Aayla Secure, which I cannot for the life of me roll. This Aayla Secure one is actually pretty good. Whenever another ally attacks during Aayla Secure's turn, she and that ally gain 25% turn meter, which works pretty nicely. There's a Qui-Gon Jinn one if you want to roll that with your regular Jedi squad with like Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron, with like Jedi Knight Anakin. There's some good stuff there. If you did get the bespoke Datacron, you somehow double dipped it like I did, you can always throw an extra one in on here where there's nice bonuses for like Jocasta Nu. There's damage immunity for Jedi Vanguard characters if that's what you want to do. But yeah, one way or another, there's going to be some Jedi Vanguard Datacrons you can roll for this. And I don't expect this to be a super strong defensive team, but you know, at least will get you something. Because if you're working on the Jedi Vanguard for the Sith Temple raid already, you've probably got them built up here. You've got this Jedi Vanguard team, which is going to help get Jocasta Nu and her Omicrons. If you don't have Master Mace Windu unlocked, well, this is going to be a nice place for Jocasta. If you do have Master Mace Windu, like I do, probably not going to be throwing this on defense. This is more just something to consider for you. If you don't have Master Mace and you're building up the Jedi Vanguard and you're working on the Jedi Temple raid, this is one that you may want to consider throwing on defense just to, you know, give something up. Maybe your opponent gets a little tripped up on it or they overestimate it, especially with the Omicrons on Jocasta Nu and the corresponding Datacron. They can get a little worried with that. So this is probably going to be the first time I throw Inquisitors on defense. Yeah, it's more just because there's a lot of strong offensive teams for me in this 5v5 season. And I know Reva with Inquisitors take a lot to deal with on defense. They take some pretty strong counters. And with us starting to see Jedi Master Kenobi pretty much always on offense, I used Reva as my go-to counter for Jedi Master Kenobi on defense. And I know we don't see him a lot very often anymore, so this is what I normally throw on defense now. And it's not to say I don't have other Jedi Master Kenobi counters in my roster. It was just one I always went to. I knew had it. And I've got other teams now that I can use if I need it. I don't have Mercenaries yet. I'm working on Mercenaries, which will then become my go-to offensive team. If I ever find a Jedi Master Kenobi on defense, I've got Balin Skull with his Mercenaries ready to go. But for now, I just don't really see why I would put them on offense. They take quite a bit. They require a strong, well-modded Phoenix team to beat on defense, if that's a thing. You gotta have some really good mods on them. So the question is, does your opponent have really good mods on their Phoenix team? If they don't have a strong Phoenix team, then you're probably gonna be good to go. But if they've got a super well-modded Phoenix team ready to go for like an Inquisitor counter, it's maybe one you may not want to consider because they're probably going to save that for Reva, or throw this in the back wall and throw something up front that tempts them to drop Phoenix on something else. Try to go for something like that. Then we've got Infinite Blind with Saw Gerrera and this Rebel Fighter Datacron here. Now, I've got Cheered Imwe in here. Usually not who you want to throw in there, but there is a Datacron for Rebel Fighters, which is, again, last time we're going to see it, but this one is just really good with Saw Gerrera. Whenever their ally is defeated, he resets cooldowns and takes a bonus turn. He's constantly throwing out Explosive Trap. He's throwing out the Rocket Launcher, which blinds everybody on the enemy team. Yeah, this one's just really good, and with Luthen Rail and his Omicrons and his nice little boost for Rebel Fighters there, this is one where you're going to constantly see that summon come back over and over again, and that summon just keeps dying. Saw Gerrera keeps resetting turns and taking bonus turns. Yeah, it's a good one. I really like it. Luthen Rail and Saw Gerrera, strong defensive team. That Datacron has made it an absolute powerhouse for the last few seasons of Grand Arena. This is the last time we're going to get it, and I fully expect to see someone with Saw Gerrera on defense with Luthen Rail and that Datacron. And then some other ones. So we've got some Clone Trooper Datacrons now for this one, and now with 501st, you've got something going here. Now, the Datacron for Clone Troopers requires Dark Side, but there are some Light Side 501st clones you can get with the Datacron here. So if you get one of those and you've got this 501st team, it's 501st. It's usually a good offensive team, but also can be tricky on defense. And we're going to see how the Clone Troopers work with the Datacrons on defense with this. Just because, maybe that Datacron does give that nice little boost to 501st that can give you something solid to latch onto, and someone goes in and suddenly they have trouble because that Datacron just gives that nice little boost to the team that they can't counter. So we'll see how that goes. And then one other one I want to talk about here is just going to be CLS with, is Chewie, Han, 3PO, and Chewpio. Again, normally I would save this for offense, but this is one where so many good teams on offense for this season because of Datacrons that this one I expect to really probably be around for defense a little bit. This one can get tricky. Han and Chewie and 3PO can really delete someone at the start of a fight. If you've got a fast CLS with all the exposes that C-3PO gives out as well, this can get tricky. So I do see it occasionally on defense, not very often, but it is a thing. It's also a really good offensive team. This is me more, usually this is one I put on offense, but with how things are going with offensive teams for me, this is one I'm going to throw on defense and just see what we get. Maybe I swap it out halfway through the season. I throw it back on throw it back on offense. We'll see how things go, but I'm kind of trying to figure out what teams I want to bounce between offense and defense. And this is one that, especially with some of these stronger Datacrons like Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and this Barriss Offee Datacron and some of these other focused Datacrons we can run into, I want to have some strong offensive teams, and I need to make up that room somewhere. So this is maybe one that I throw on defense here. Now, granted, I don't have all these teams on defense because I've only got a certain number of slots because of my league, but, maybe I change things up. We'll see how things go there. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you guys think I missed someone for defense? Do you guys think I'm overestimating someone on defense? Let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed this video, again, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.